They must have the slowest horses ever pulling this bleeding wagon, mustn't they? She ain't going to go past here like past 2. Surely the horses will bump into her on the way down to the post. Yeah, no, I'm just here. Look at you. Liney, what tasty women here. Don't you ugly men. All you ugly men, get out of the way.
And a very warm welcome to the Bar Stewards Inquiry Daily Review. It's day 3 of the Royal Meeting and more pain for the Bar Stewards. And you love it, don't you, when we do it in? And yeah, I think I would as well. It makes more fun. Not for us, though. It was a day full of more hard luck stories and woes, tales of woe. We got the day started with a big bout of controversy today in the Norfolk. The Riddler winning a bullseye for the scaffolder and Paul Hannigan. And what was interesting here is that Hannigan seemed to be he's as if he were like an F1 car that's lost its back tyre in the final furlong. What did you make of all that, chaps?
An F1 car that's lost its back tyre, is that what he said?
Well, no, that's what it looked like.
I've heard everything, mate. If you go out with that'd be fun.
That's why I would have to wind everybody up.
Well, he looked as though he took at least one out of the equation, didn't he? We had a big inquest on ITV after Grady Beckley's blood thing got bait. If that had won, I suppose I wouldn't have had that little kick the shit out of Paul Hannigan session. But the thing was all they were that pissed off, they had to do something that was going to save the baying mob. Just within the rules, really, you know, I mean, they can get away with that and keep it.
Well, yeah, it's within the rules if it's interpreted that way. If it's deemed as dangerous riding, then it's not within the rules. But the last dangerous riding offence that was given out by a British steward was back in 2009. So the chances of you getting done for dangerous riding these days, you know.
Chris Cook made an interesting point on Twitter, I thought. Now, if that had won ahead and beaten one of them with mullered,
yeah,
he's out, isn't he?
100%, for sure.
So the advice to jockeys is if you're going to muller some fucker, make a good job of it,
and win by far. I mean, we've had a lot of response on this, and I deal with a lot of stewards' inquiries on Twitter, and I'm not having a go at people here, but generally when you've backed a favourite that's finished second, there's usually more saying it should get slung than and vice versa. If the favourite wins and it's
especially
a 50 to 1,
50 pork, isn't it? You know
it's, yeah. And this is how I saw it. If I was steward at Ascot today, I would have let the results stand. I would have given Hannigan the maximum under the improper riding rules, not careless like they've done in 4 for 10. And I would put them is. Because I believe that we need to, because we've got King Kong betting at pools now and stuff like that. This meeting, eyes are on us, and there'll be a lot of unhappy people in King Kong. So it's not that they're unhappy enough already. But anyway, it needs because jockeys, that was horrible. That was a horrible piece of riding. Was it deliberate? I couldn't prove that it was deliberate, but let's put it this way. When he's drifting across track, there was no attempt to straighten his horse up at any point, no attempt to switch his whip hand, just carry on belting it and just cross over the second. I think Total Performance Data ruled that the eventual third horse, Crispy Cat, was the biggest sufferer in momentum loss of speed inside the final furlong. Obviously, the fourth horse of Bells was hampered. And Quentin, what would you say though with these rules that's in place now? Like, why, you know, like if you back the fourth each way, you're a bit upset.
You're simmering. Like, even like you said, the Crispy Cat was the biggest sufferer there, and I think he probably goes close, to be honest, with a clear shot. Like, he's getting go. It's like you said, it's a momentum stopper. Hannigan's done absolutely nothing to correct until he's wiped them out and then straightened up. The whip's in the wrong hand. The rules aren't going to be changed until something happens. Like, you got King Kong, you got the states betting into the world pools. If this is in America, the things chucked out and placed. I don't know what the rules are, but it's definitely placed behind Brave Nation. Like, I think Sean Parker, the steward, came out and said, he was asked what would need to be done for it to be classed as dangerous riding, and I was half expecting him to be honest and say, like, well, Hannigan would have had to decapitate one and hold up the flag of ISIS or something like that. Like, the rules are ridiculous.
It's as if Hannigan would have had to have brought one down. I mean, I'll put another scenario then. It's 1 length and a quarter. Let's say it brought Crispy Cat down, and the jockey's on the floor, the jockey's in the ambulance. You know, it's 101 again. It chucked out even for 1 1/4, because then they'll class it as dangerous. But because it's not knocked anyone off, it's not classed as dangerous, which is rather bizarre.
Colhane did it, I think 2009. You were saying the jockey then broke their leg, and that was the last time someone got done for dangerous riding. So it's like they're waiting for something big to happen until they're very reactive, not proactive. The VHA rules.
Do you think Royal Gate would have kept the Gold Cup under the current rules?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. I mean, look, I don't want winners getting chucked out. I think there's nothing worse. You need betting confidence that you've backed a winner, and you're not going to get some half-arsed steward, being overzealous and creating something that isn't there. But in this instance, I agree with some of our listeners that are tweeted at the Barsters today. They said that it doesn't sit well with them that a jockey can do that. He'll get his percentage at prize money. He'll get obviously for connections, etc. So, he's rode the winner of the Group 2 Norfolk, and then a 10-day ban. I think that's pathetic.
I think Turner came out and said, "Oh, he's going to be gutted. He's missing 10 days." Is he fuck? He's just won a Group 2 at Royal Ascot. He can have a 10-day holiday on a beach. Nice self prize money. And obviously, he's not retained by anyone at the moment, so I'm sure he'll get his fair share of rides on the back of this. Like, good publicity. If you're an owner, you want your jockey to do that within the rules because you're not getting chucked out.
Yeah, precisely. Yeah, as the scaffolder and owners will be jumping up and down that he's done that because I know they might even chuck him a few quid in the pot for his 10-day break. Anyway, we'll move on. I can feel the anger on Twitter on that one. Some people saying it shouldn't. There's nothing to see here. Mainly ITV Racing that said there's nothing to see here really. But I think what I was disgusted about was Paul Hannigan after when he was interviewed, and he was actually laughing, saying, "Oh yeah, I think I'm probably going to be due a holiday." He didn't give a fuck, did he? He just he knew what he was doing. Anyway, we'll move on because we wasted a lot of time there. 305, King George V handicap. I did my brains. Secret State had a nice trip. Got the job done from Deauville Legend and Isra. Anything of note here, folks? Any sectionals or anything that caught your eye in behind?
It looked a deeply unsatisfactory race to me. The first 3 were in the first 4 all the way, weren't they?
Yeah.
Frankie got to the front and absolutely parked the bus. And really, anybody sat further back than 8 was tearing the ticket up before they got out of the Swinley bottom.
Yeah. Pretty much, it was like you knew if you did the old dividing line, look at the field halfway further back. Anything in that back.
I think that's something that's gone on this week as well on the round course. I mean, the SJP was deeply unsatisfactory, really, the way it was run.
They seem to be running Ascot this week on the round track a bit like they do the all-weather tracks.
Yeah.
Where they start quick, get the position, and like you say, and then that's it.
Yeah,
reins on. That's how they seem to be riding this week. So,
I agree with John there. Probably the only thing Frankie's done right today, got there, parked the bus in terms of giving his horse the best chance of winning. Like,
yeah,
that's what I know. He's finished down the field when he finished 11th, but he's given his horse every chance.
It actually looked like he could have been making a stronger pace.
Yeah.
One that caught my eye was, Surrey missed. I know it's got form on top of the ground, but he seemed to be feeling it a little bit. I still think he's well handicapped. Balambar, the stout horse that came from last, finished with stacks left in the tank, a couple of quick closing sectionals. Absolutely no doubt he's well handicapped and will find easier tasks. What did you think of Inverness, John?
I thought he had a rotten trip. He was wide enough, and he was trying to make ground as wide as anybody on the outside, on the apex of the bend. But then in the straight, I thought he cocked his jaw a little bit when he was asked to go. I think if he put his head down and raced a bit better, he'd maybe finish 6th or 7th.
I think he's still in the locker with him. The deep race, isn't it? Possibly on the Haggis one, so you knew the fate after about 150 yards there.
Yeah, I didn't like Tudhope's manoeuvre really to get it right on the inside very quickly. I genuinely felt he could have just sort of give himself options and sit 2 or 3 wide, but he got hampered several times. And you can stripe the run. He's a lot better than that. The same with Manderby. That was too keen early. The other Haggis runner, I see that as a Melrose type. So if you back them today, don't be put off. It was like far superior.
See them putting up post-impressionist, even though it's ran off a handicap mark here. But you've seen what the winner at Newcastle did. Can you see him putting them up, despite him being well beaten here?
That's a good question. He might uprate the Newcastle form. Yeah, he might just suddenly say, well, Honiton's won 9 length. How can I have post impressionist sat on 89 when Honiton's going to probably, I don't know what Honiton's gone up for winning that Sandown maiden 9 lengths, but you could probably say that might be in the mid 90s now. So it's one of them, or at least 90. You'd say it might go up £5 or £6 for Sandown if they're not too harsh, but. It's one of them, isn't it? You can't really have it staying on 89 on that, but then, and obviously it didn't work out there, so it'd be interesting to see what the handicapper does. Ribbleesdale, the fillies, good old fillies. I was hoping I've not got much financial interest in the race. I sort of was interested in Quentin's choice, Mukaddama, Sea Silk Road. I was wanting the shirt to get the win. Anything to take from this, chaps?
Don't think there was anything that showed much improvement there. I think Magical Lagoon's probably run to her rating and put Sea Silk Road up to maybe he's 106. History maybe he's about £2 below the official rating because he'd struggled to put Mukaddama up any more than say 4, wouldn't you? So
I think what's holding her back though, Mukaddama, it's a slow breaks. She's done it more or less since day dot, and it's obviously a trait she has, which is going to hold her back if she's always missing the kick and always ending up having to come from behind. Quentin, did you take anything from it?
Absolutely nothing, to be honest. Sea Silk Road had every chance. Headed Magical Lagoon, she battled back. They're 7, 8, 9 pounds. Tuesday and Emily Upjohn. I wasn't sure Mukaddama stayed, to be honest. The run petered out late. Maybe it was making a move into contention, but wasn't fully convinced she stayed. But that was just on first viewing, so I'll watch it again tomorrow and see what I think then. She
kind of came through like behind Sea Silk Road, a couple of lengths behind her, but she was following Sea Silk Road, around the bend, and like you say, it seemed to peter out a little bit. But 4:20. Kyprios beat Mojo Star, who's now second in a Derby, second in a St Ledger, and now second in a Gold Cup. It's good form, but there's no first place rosette for Mojo. Did we like anything in the Gold Cup? Is Kyprios going to do a Yates and win the next 2 or 3?
Good, hope not.
I thought.
That back Mojo Star. Again, I thought this was a deeply unsatisfactory race because they finished in the fucking 8th, really, haven't they?
Yeah.
That front fan, the proximity of Burning Victory, 6-year-old mare, really pegs the farm back. I don't think either of the front three have hit their ratings, to be honest. I think it's been a dawdle followed by a sprint and a bit of carnage on the inside. And a bit of a rotten race, really, I thought. Yeah, winner's probably done well, but...
Is that how it went, Quentin? Did it go like that on the old sectional clock?
112% finishing speed. One thing I did like in the ride was Ryan Moore's ride. Race even was Ryan Moore's ride. He's boxed Frankie and made him look silly. As Gosden, I haven't seen any post-race stuff. Has Gosden come out and said anything about all-weather tactics at the moment?
Not happy would be the impression. He didn't like the way Frankie allowed him to drift back after he had what Gosden thought was a good position early in the race on the fence. He dropped back a bit, didn't he? Mr. Gosden wouldn't have ridden it like that. He'd have maintained his position.
So, I mean, do we think the Sardinian's gone a bit?
Yes.
On showing, you'll say yes.
Yeah.
On this week's show, you'll say yes.
I mean, you'd always say Frankie's Mr. Ascot, wouldn't you? You know, this is his course. This is where he did his Magnificent Seven.
This is Bob Ascot might take his show with that, but go on.
Well, yeah, but you know, well, Mr. Ascot that's alive anyway, and yes, he obviously can't touch Pigot's record around there, but obviously, I think he's joint winners with Pat Edery. I think I've seen that. I think he's like joint second for most winners at Ascot with Pat Edery. Could be wrong there. I usually am. It's not gin and fuel today because I've got gout, so I'm on water and I'm being good. So yeah, I think the Gold Cup's a bit of a weird race this year. If Quentin says it's 112%, that means they've sort of walked round or the sprint finish like. Which explains like Moho Star. That's got the best 3-year-old form from last year. Wait, better than Kyprios over shorter distances. So
just to give everybody a giggle, our back Mojo Star and put a lay up at Evans. Some money was matched at Evans, but none of it mine. It's kind of weak. I mean, this is the thing. If you get on the wrong side of stuff. It's brutal, and obviously my time to get another spanking came in the next the Britannia, where again the sardine put me right in the bin, having that dropped out last. I would imagine that's probably going to be one of the best performances in the race on sectionals, etc. Because he was last to come. I might be wrong on that, but I thought Saga possibly should have won that. Had Frankie brought him sooner. Quentin, I'm coming to you. Is there any data available to back this up?
0.3 seconds quicker through the final furlong. He was still tanking at the 2-pole. That's the thing. He could have pushed the button then and gone through the pack. He had a clear shot at things. So he's the best horse in the race when you put the upgrades in. Who put 50 in you, I thought ran big considering he was on the wing and had nothing to take him into the race.
Wrong part of the track, yeah.
They avoided the standside rail. I don't get it, but the going stick says it's the quickest part of the track, but they just want to avoid it like the plague, to be honest.
Do you think
it's a bit like Epsom and Sandown syndrome, where Clark's putting plenty on, so some Wallies decide to, right, we're coming wide, and everyone then sticks wide, and then no one got to. It's like Epsom, I think on the last day, wasn't it? The quickest part of the track were on the inside, and I think first two they just completely avoided it, barring I think Potapova stayed up that far rail and ran very well from her position in that listed Group 3 fillies race. So. Like you say, once they do it, like the creatures of habit, these jocks and trainers to a degree. So yeah, they're frustrating. John, did you have any bets in Britannia?
I did have bet John and Quentin.
Yours was the one I saved on.
Yeah, you don't even get the savers these days, do you? It's absolutely brutal. On the floor, like I say, I feel like a pint of gin, but gout's even put to that. Hay fever and gout today, on top of trying to punt. It's a disgrace. 5:35, the Hampton Court.
The red glimmer of light in the gloom.
Do you think
ITV were after an absolute wank fest if this had won?
Yeah.
Ed Chamberlain, honestly, he'd have gone through the looking glass if this had gone in. He'd have been having tea with the Queen of Hearts. I'm not
would he have gone footer whacking?
Oh, honest to God. It was unbelievable. It was like there was only one horse in the race. Probably have had a camera live at Windsor Castle. Greedy Betty sat there steeping her feet, watching the race. And I was so pleased with Jenny, the Republican, from all the...
Oh dear. So Claymore, I didn't
see. Your mind back to our conversation yesterday as well. I did say Golden Strain was a bit of a fucker, didn't I? I think
you did.
Chucked another fucker out there, I think.
Well, again, Quentin, I think it was from an early stage where it only looked like Claymore and Reach for the Moon could be the only winners, didn't it? Like again with the gallop, the setup. And I noticed today, just for those listeners that love a bit of betting gossip, there were, I think, a 50k layer on Reach for the Moon in play, and he just left it there at SP. Very, very brave, I think that was, because, like, watching the race early, I'm thinking, well, there's only two that can win. You're right, it's probably going to be Claymore, Reach for the Moon. That's it, But, yeah, did the sectionals bear that out, Quentin? We went slow in this?
108.75% finishing speed. Claymore, they're both in the right position. Reach for the Moon was there, just wasn't good enough. I was a place layer of Claymore at 2.9-ish, which sums up the week, doesn't it? Bubba said, I knew my day was done early doors there. Where do you think next for Reach for the Moon? Just a dog downgraded? Like, where do you think they're going next?
I think probably end up in Strensel at York, John.
Unlikely. Yeah, it's target for failure, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's entered in Eclipse. That's just a pipe dream. It's entered in the Princess of Wales at the July meeting.
He's only about 103 there, hasn't he?
It's a poor run. Only thing you can blame it on, I thought it was quite a decent effort on comeback, quite a big effort.
Bounce.
Yeah, if it's just flat, that's the only excuse I think it's got, flat. But of course, Claymore is obviously proven as pretty useful. He's nothing amazing. I don't think. I think you're difficult to say he's better than 110. I think.
I wanted to back Claymore today, and I just couldn't after what happened in France because I thought they might have blown his brains out.
Well, it tends to be like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
He had a toughish trip at Longchamp, and nothing went right, and
No.
it's one of them. Yeah, how's it going to come back from that? I know it's like some people fancied Claymore. Lots of people were saying, "Oh, he's the value in the race," but with Quentin, really, I couldn't really have it, to be honest. There we go. Okay, enough said about that then. So no winners for Betty, an unlucky one in Saga, and a very disappointing Golden Stream in the Hampton Court, showing the family colours, says John. 6:10 Ascot, Buckingham Palace. Didn't get any better here either. Most people would have been on the Fav, hence why it's Fav. Montesib didn't quite go very smoothly for it. Inver Park, the winner for George Bowie, and a good friend of mine who does the feed up north up here, he managed to get this beat off at 78 earlier this season. How is he feeling now?
Ouch.
Yeah.
Nasty business.
Yeah. It's very, very poor. I mean, what did we make of the race? It looked quite messy to me.
I've got Star of Orion after it got stopped twice between the Thor and the toe pole. I was virtually in tears. I couldn't see properly. So I didn't have a lot to add after that.
No. So, Quentin, anything for you in that? What did you bet in that?
Didn't have a bet in the race. The horse in my notebook is, of course, in the park. Like, he had a big figure at Hamilton, but I was just concerned he was on the right part of the track then, and now he's up in grade, ends up leaving the race alone, which sums up how I played the week so far. So I haven't had a bet in it. In the park was one that got away.
Yeah. Some of our listeners are doing better than we are, but it is what it is. I tell you what, on to tomorrow. Let's try and give them a Ascot winner. Let's turn our form around tomorrow. I've got a lovely price one tomorrow, and it's mine app. And I didn't check the prices, so I bet it's collapsed. It's my usual look. I'll kick us off then tomorrow. It's in the Coronation. And if you're beat by Cachet, as you know, you're shit. And it is going to be the other Gosden one. We've got Frank on, which, I'm not sure that's a positive either. But with Grand Dam, 16-1. I think this is a filly that has a lot more ability than what she looks. She beat Mukadama at Ascot on debut. I felt she had quite a bit in hand as well. Then went to York, given a rubbish ride by the Sardine. He had a quite far back, and also that day there was problems in the paddock for Grand Dam. She cut her mouth. She reared up in the pre-parade. And she wasn't, some people were surprised she even ran. But so I think 16-1, very large for Grand Dam in the Coronation Stakes tomorrow. Quentin, what do you think tomorrow? Anything good?
Hey, I'm going to go with Flyer at a price 25-1 in this Sandringham. Have a savour on the Charlie Fellows horse, Fresh Hope. But Tamara, really liked her as a physical throughout this season. Got a beat at Windsor. Then she ran into, I think it was Minobi, clogging a big figure at Ripon. She's improved to win from the front at Beverley and again at Ripon. It's up in grade, but I think there's a fair bit more in the locker off of, I think she's off 83 tomorrow, 83. I think she's got a fair few pounds to play with. 25-1's overpriced with a middle draw.
So you recommend saving on, did you say Fresh Hope?
Fresh Hope tomorrow, the main play.
Yeah, and the main play would be Tamararis. Charlie Ilses. Yeah, I know the horse. No, yeah, really good filly. This tries as well. I like that filly. Won the last two. Yeah, even though it's Charles Ills. 25s for Quentin. Good choice with a saver on the other one. Fresh Hope. John.
Twilight Jet in the Commonwealth Cup.
That's the Irish runner, isn't it? Yeah.
I think with the exception of the Thai one, I was sprint as much of a muchness. I think this has a bit of improvement in it, and well, unfortunately for me, it's been backed in from 12 to about 8 now. But I still think there's a smidgen of value there about the 8.
It was very impressive, wasn't it, at Nars? Watching it back. Real took my eye that, and the bloggers and everyone else's eye. Quentin, what do you make of Twilight Jet?
Sprint form's not really my bag, so I've left the Commonwealth Cup for now. I've yet to look over it. Something I'm going to do tonight.
No, fair play. So there's some decent prices we're giving you for tomorrow, some sporting choices. We certainly can't do much worse. So let's hope tomorrow is better and we're bouncing back and in form. And don't forget to join us also tomorrow. It's the tipping show where we will be giving our selections for in the same format, the 3 best bets for the Saturday of the Royal Meeting. So that's all from us on a very grim third day of Ascot. And Well, and I can't even drown my sorrows. Can't drown my sorrows, which is very annoying. So that's all from me, Quentin John. We're back tomorrow. Bye for now.